How's it going? Welcome back to the show. This is You Made Roscoe. I am Roscoe. And today we're going to be doing a reaction to a stand-up comedy clip. This is Lucille Ball and George Burns together on the same stage. So we'll be checking this out. Before we get into it, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't that they please subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell. Also, make sure that you go over to both Lucille Ball's and George Burns's home pages and do the same thing, because we do want to support the artists, even if they're not with us in the physical. So, yeah, I actually came looking for George Burns and ended up running into this with him and her in it. And I was a fan of the Lucille Ball show, the reruns that I would catch as a kid. But yeah, no, and I saw her and I was like, oh, cool. You get to see both. So let's go ahead and start. Let's get it.
Let's talk about your brother.
Oh, which brother do you want to talk about? The one that's married or the one that's in love?
The tall one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's my brother Harry. He's with the FBI.
Your brother's with the FBI?
Yeah, they picked him up in Kansas City.
So the FBI picked him up.
Well, they had to. He couldn't pick himself up.
Loaded again.
Yeah.
Poor Harry. Hasn't your family ever tried to do something about his drinking?
Well, we sent him to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist worked and worked to get to the bottom of Harry's drinking. And finally, he found out Harry's problem.
What was it?
Harry likes to drink.
Well, we all have our reasons.
I think Harry drinks to forget.
Forget what?
That he's a kleptomaniac.
He's a kleptomaniac.
Harry was always going into stores and taking things, so you know what my mother did?
What?
Well, she took some adhesive, and she taped his hand shut, all but this one finger.
Taped his hand shut, all but that. Why?
Well, so he could play marbles with my other brother.
You can't play marbles with one finger.
Well, Mother did that to even up the game. You see, Harry didn't have all of his fingers, and my other brother didn't have all of his marbles.
Oh my God. This is pretty funny. Let me push this back. God bless her brothers, especially the drunken kleptomaniac, but yeah, let's push it back. And yeah, it seems like George is serving as the straight man in this particular combination. But yeah, let's and for those people who don't know what or who the straight guy or what the straight man or what it means when I say that, I'm sure the audience does, but maybe somebody new comes into this, maybe some kid strolls upon this video and it's like, what is a straight man? And actually, that if there's a comic duo or a scene where there's two comics in it, the straight person will be kind of the one that kind of keeps the straight face and he isn't delivering the punchlines, whereas the other person is kind of the punchline person. So the straight person would be the kind of the setup for the jokes, and then the other person, the punchline person, knocks it out. I don't know what they call that person. I just call them the punchline person. They're the one that does all the funny stuff. While the straight man could be funny too, like there's some good ones out there. I can't think of like one. Laurel and Hardy is the one time that I know there's been other versions, like I think Dean Martin and who was that? The dude that used to host the telethons. I forget his name, but yeah, no, those were some good ones, but yeah, no, let's keep this going.
Well, we all have our reasons.
I think Harry drinks to forget.
Forget what?
That he's a kleptomaniac.
He's a kleptomaniac.
Harry was always going into stores and taking things, so you know what my mother did?
What?
Well, she took some adhesive, and she taped his hand shut, all but this one finger.
Taped his hand shut, all but that. Why?
Well, so he could play marbles with my other brother.
You can't play marbles with one finger.
Well, Mother did that to even up the game. You see, Harry didn't have all of his fingers, and my other brother didn't have all of his marbles.
made the game even.
Yes, it did.
But when your mother taped up Harry's hands so that he only had one finger, did this stop his shoplifting?
Well, it helped. All he could steal were donuts.
I knew he'd find a way to get to something, and for some odd reason, I figured like rings, anything with holes. Yeah, that would be, obvious. But let's push it back, and anything with holes. In my mind, I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody else went there, but let's continue.
When your mother taped up Harry's hands so that he only had one finger, did this stop his shoplifting?
Well, it helped. All he could steal were donuts.
Harry likes donuts.
That's right. It was the donut that broke Harry's back.
Donut broke his back?
Yeah, you see, he had a donut in his right-hand pocket, and he tried to get it out with his left hand.
And broke his back?
Yeah.
Well, the next time he's got a donut in his right-hand pocket, tell him to try to take it out with his right hand.
Well, that's kind of hard when you got your pants on backwards.
He had his pants on backwards?
Yeah, you see, Harry had a suit with two pair of pants, and he put one pair on frontwards and one pair on backwards.
So that he could walk either way.
That's when the truck hit him.
What?
Yeah, let me push this back. This will be the last time I stop this. Let's do this right here. Boom, and we'll finish out.
On frontwards and one pair on backwards.
So that he could walk either way.
That's when the truck hit him.
What truck?
The truck that didn't have its lights on.
So why didn't the man in the truck have his lights on?
Well, he didn't have to. It was daytime.
Well, if it was daytime, didn't the man in the truck see your brother coming?
He didn't know it was my brother. Oh, he saw two pair of pants coming toward him, and he drove right between them.
Well, that's our music cue.
All right. Let's push this back. And that was Lucille Ball and George Burns doing a stand-up comedy bit, and that was pretty funny. For me, it's for one, I've always, even as a little kid, enjoyed the humor of the comics from this era, and all that stuff. Well, I guess with these two, it would cover like a lot of years. So, but yeah, from this era of comedians, I used to enjoy that humor a lot, and so it's really cool to, for me to just see these older comics, from a day way in the past, but also to compare like today's comedians with this type of stuff. And we know that for whatever reason, comedians became more and more blue, I suppose. They start cursing a lot more and interjecting a lot of different things, as opposed to these times where, it was the simplicity of this stuff, and it's still being able to be funny, but it was a simpler time. There was some craziness going on back then, I'm sure, but they wasn't letting they salacious stuff come all out into the public like that, like they would now. Now they will promote their salacious behaviors, but yeah. Unless you're Diddy, well, he was for a minute, but now he want to probably keep that under wraps. And probably the next time he pop out somewhere, and I mean like pop out, they probably gonna lock that dude up. But yeah, no, great stuff. And I'm gonna give this 2 thumbs before I leave. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. You'll pick the one named Comedy Reactions. I do have a playlist full of like comedians or anything comedy related, so check that stuff out. I do have playlists for other things. A lot of that stuff is music related, but as you can see, I step outside of that, meaning that you should check all of the playlists just to make sure that you don't miss anything. And that's it. That's everything. I'm done. I will see you guys again soon. So until next time, be safe and be good.